We're still waiting on one other board member. Dr. Mountain, you have the floor.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Vicki. Welcome to the Board of Vocational Nursing and Psychiatric Technicians November board meeting. My name is Dr. Carel Mountain. I'm the board president. I would like to call this meeting to order at 9:02 a.m. Before I call roll and establish a quorum, it is my great pleasure to announce that Governor Newsom has appointed 2 new board members who are joining us today. I'd like to give a warm welcome to Ms. Tara Rooks and our new LVN member, and Mr. Abraham Hill, our new PT member. We're looking forward to working together. Would either of you care to say just a bit about yourselves, just a minute or two?
Yes, good morning. Hello, everyone, and thank you for that warm welcome, Dr. Mountain. My name is Tara Rooks, and I am, of course, a licensed vocational nurse. I've been a nurse for the last 30 years. I work for the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation as a LVN at Folsom State Prison. I currently am very active in our union. State employees have a state employees union, SEIU Local 1000. I currently hold a position as District Label Council President of 769, where I'm responsible for about 2,500 members. But also I enjoy, of course, the work of nursing, right? I have 4 children, and I'm very happy at their success. Of course, you know, children don't always do what we want them to do, but they're pretty good kids. I think I'm fortunate to have very good family support. And I think that's about it. I'm just so grateful to be to the governor and his team for this appointment. And I am so looking forward to meeting you all one day soon, face to face, when we can get through this pandemic. It is a pleasure. I am very happy. So thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. Mr. Hill?
I'd like to piggyback on Tara's thank you. Just that I'm very excited. I'm very humbled. Thank you for the appointment, Governor Newsom. Thank you for the Department of Consumer Affairs team. They've made it really comfortable in this transition, starting out as a board member. So my name is Abraham Hill. I'm a licensed psych tech. I've been licensed for about 30 years, obtaining my certificate at Mission College in Santa Clara. I've been working with the Department of Developmental Services for 31 years. I have worked at all the developmental centers, provided some consultation with regional centers throughout the state. Currently assigned to the state-operated community crisis homes, where we have 3 in Northern California, 1 Central California, where we're gonna open up another one for children, and then 2 in Southern California. As a psych tech instructor, I'm tasked with developing the regulatory mandated curriculum to meet the needs. And I'm very proud to be pushing for a trauma-informed care curriculum so that we can all be a little more mindful of folks and their traumas. I have a happy family with 5 gorgeous kids, and yes, you can't always dictate their good decisions versus their bad decisions, but they're wonderful kids, beautiful kids, and I can't be happier for their support, their love. Once again, I am very humbled to be in this position, and I think it's a challenge to provide protection for the public. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your introductions. First, some housekeeping information about how this meeting will be conducted. This meeting is being held via WebEx on Friday, November 20, 2020. I ask the board members and staff to mute their microphones to eliminate background noise, and when they are ready to speak, they can unmute. WebEx has a feature to virtually raise your hand, and I will ask board members to use this function after each agenda item if they would like to comment or have questions. If we need a motion, I will call for a motion and any board member can raise their hand, identify themselves, and make a motion. If you are seconding a motion, please raise your hand, unmute, identify yourself, and second the motion. I will take a roll call vote after each motion. Again, please identify yourself by name each time you speak so our audience knows who is speaking. We will take public comment on each agenda item. If you wish to provide public comment, click on the Q&A button near the bottom center of your WebEx session. This brings up the Q&A chat box. To request time to speak, make sure the Ask menu is set to all panelists and type, "I would like to make a public comment." Attendee lines will be unmuted in the order the requests are received, and you will be allowed to present public comment. Please note, your line will be muted at the end of the allocated public comment duration, which is 3 minutes. You will be notified when you have 10 seconds remaining. Your name is not necessary, but please indicate how you would like us to identify you. For the sake of efficiency, the executive officer will respond directly to public comment or defer to the appropriate staff person or counsel. For questions directed to the board members, I will either answer the question or direct it to the board members. I will now do an alphabetical roll call to establish quorum. I will ask each board member to respond here after I say their names. Paula Amazola de Herrera.
Here.
Thank you. Alita Carpenter.
Here.
John Durking.
Good morning. Here.
Good morning. Abraham Hill.
Here.
Ken Maxey.
Here.
Donna Norton.
Here.
Tara Rooks.
Here.
Melissa Rubalcalva.
Here.
Cheryl Turner.
Here.
Based on the roll call, we have established quorum.
Excuse me, Dr. Mountain, could you
Yes.
put Mr. Maxey's name again, please?
Oh, Ken Maxey.
Here.
Thank you, Mr. Maxey. Your mic is working. Thank you.
Excellent. At this time, I'm going to let Ms. Yamaguchi, Executive Officer, introduce herself and her staff.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Elaine Yamaguchi, the Executive Officer. With us today, obviously, our host and budget analyst, Vicki Saavedra, working double shift here as our moderator. Our Enforcement Chief, Antoinette Wood. Our AEO, Vicki Lyman. Doris Piers, our Legend Regs analyst. Tim Matsumoto, one of our fine retired annuitants. Geraldine Marcino, our education analyst. Our NECs, Beth DeYoung, Cindy Fairchild, Faye Silverman, Jessica Gomez, and Judith McLeod, and Sue Ellen Clayworth. And forgive me if I missed anybody. It's a little more difficult to look at the attendee list rather than just out on a crowd of faces.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's everyone, Dr. Mountain.
Thank you, Ms. Yamaguchi. Legal counsel, will you please introduce yourselves?
Good morning, Madam Chair, and thank you. Kenneth Swenson, Senior Staff Counsel, Attorney 3, General Counsel of the Board.
Thank you, Mr. Swenson. We're to item 4, board meeting minutes, review and approval. Please raise your hand to make a motion to approve the August 21, 2020 meeting minutes. Thank you, Ms. Carpenter. Is there a second? We can take Mr. Hill as a second. Thank you very much.
This is the board moderator. I do not see any at this time.
Is there any discussion, questions, or comments from the board members? Mr. Hill, your hand is still raised. Do you have a comment? Okay, thank you. I see no other hands raised. Is there any discussion from legal counsel or staff? It's been moved and seconded to approve the August 21, 2020 meeting minutes. I will do a roll call and establish who's in favor, opposed, or abstains. Ms. Amazola?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mr. Durking?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. Maxey?
Yes.
Ms. Norton?
Yes.
Ms. Rooks?
Yes.
Ms. Rubalcava?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. The motion is approved unanimously. At this time, I will inform everyone there's a change in the order of the agenda. To accommodate the DCA budget and fiscal team, we will have the presentation and discussion of our fund condition and finances at this point. Ms. Yamaguchi?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before you, you'll see our most recent fund condition. I think as we've discussed a number of times, we're looking at a vast number of potential changes, I think, in the coming years. So while our fund condition right now, as documented here, shows us moving towards a deficit position in about 2023, and we've been talking about this in the context of creating and implementing a fee on the educational programs, but also in terms of potentially increasing the licensee applicant fees. At this point in time, though, so much is uncertain. We don't really have a good idea yet of the impacts of the salary reduction for the staff. And I think as everybody has read in the news, the governor has asked all departments to develop and implement possibly a 5% reduction overall. So at this point, a lot is uncertain about our long-term fiscal health. We've asked our friends over at the DCA budget office to say a few words about, first of all, of course, our overall fund condition and fiscal health, but also maybe to offer some insights about where we might be going, what could happen, how we see things playing forward. So, Karen, I don't know who gets to go first, but if you want to take this away, Karen Munoz from the budget office.
Good morning. Good morning. Yes, my name's Karen Munoz. I am the budget manager over at the DCA budget office. I will be talking to the board on their fund. I will discuss and answer any questions you guys may have on the 5% that Elaine did allude to on in the coming year, and any fee regulations that could be discussed by our friend Matt Nishamini later. However, I will go ahead and start with our fund condition at this time. Yes, as Elaine said, you are declining on your fund every year, and in 23-24, the fund will be insolvent if we stay on this path. I do know that there are those possibilities of that fee increase. However, right now in 22-23, we are at a 0.2, but with any kind of savings that the board may have, or if the appropriation declines at all, and the revenue that comes in remains the same. So if we're looking at a in 21-22 for say $17.6 million revenue incoming, and currently we're showing an $18 million appropriation, or actually total expenditures a $19 million appropriation. If that declines, if that appropriation declines, it could help the fund in a way where their fund won't decline as much. However, it does still show a declining trend. Like Elaine said, it's still also uncertain to us right now. We did just get the 5% memo that come out. This is something that's supposed to take effect come July 1 of next year. So we are on a plan, and we will be reaching out with the board starting next week. But we do have questions still outstanding with finance that we would like to get back so we could better serve the board on the questions that they have. Does anybody have any questions on the fund condition at this time?
This is Cheryl Turner. Was I supposed to raise my hand first? Let's see. Yeah.
Go ahead, Cheryl.
Okay, yeah. So who's going to go into the 5% decrease? Was it you or was it Elaine? And what exactly does that mean? And how does that impact our request for fee increase?
That will be, I can discuss a little bit on the 5%. However, we still are uncertain on several things since this is something that just came out in a budget letter. And we do have outstanding questions with finance. However, this is something that is going statewide, all departments, and it's a 5% reduction that will, reduce we don't know actually if it's going to be a full 5% based on the questions that we have with finance. But per the budget letter, it is a 5% cut to all boards and bureaus beginning in July. We are going to work with the board on a plan on how the board can achieve this 5% savings by July. But again, we are still working. We're still waiting on some guidance from finance on how we can achieve that.
So you're saying it's a mandate for us to reduce all expenses that, on our own from our budget. Is that what you're saying?
Ms. Turner, this is Elaine Yamaguchi, if I may. What the department and actually the Department of Finance have asked all the boards, basically all the state entities to do, is to look at the overall budget and provide an estimate of what we believe can be reduced, will be reduced in that amount of 5%. So right now, I think as Ms. Munoz was saying, because this directive was just distributed this week, we have not managed to put together a final plan, even a rough plan. And at this point in time, we have some ideas, and we hope to be working with our executive committee to fine-tune those, but the timeline is very, very short. So what will happen, of course, is that we'll put together our plan, and then we'll ask the president and vice president for input and guidance, and then we'll be giving this to the department. But as Ms. Munoz said again, we don't know actually how this is going to roll forward. We were just directed to provide what we would suggest as our reductions.
Because we were already starting to cut even before this based on, our anticipated, future income and expenses. So I'm sure it's going to be challenging. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Ms. Norton, I see that you have your hand up as well. Donna, did you have a comment?
Oh, yes, I did. Sorry, I didn't hear you say my name. So I'm just wondering where we would find, or if there's been information. It would seem to me that this past year, since we have not been flying people back and forth for board meetings, that we would have been able to appreciate some type of savings there. Has that been looked at, or where would we see that in our in our expenditures or expenditure adjustment. It would just seem to me that we would have appreciated some type of savings over that, or has it been offset by the cost of webinar? I can't imagine that the webinars would be as costly as hotels and flying people back and forth.
Thank you, Ms. Norton. You're 100% correct. There have been a number of savings over this past year, and we've been looking at well, obviously, even before this year, we've always been looking at ways to increase our efficiencies and lower costs. But yes, there over 2020, there have been a number of cost savings, especially in terms of travel, as you mentioned. However, the sum of 5% is quite a lot, and so while the travel expenses might amount to, and just off the top of my head, something like 10 to 15% of that. So, but yeah, it's definitely. I don't want to say it's been a help, but that has been a factor that we're looking at, and our staff have been working with, looking at our actuals and figuring out what's been working and what happened, the way we've streamlined a lot of things over this year. But there's still a lot of work to do.
Thank you.
Sorry, I have to scroll down to see all the hands raised. All right, I don't see any other hands that are raised. So are there further comments? Okay, thank you very much for the report. At this time, we will take item 7, which would be an update from.
If I may, Mr.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
For you to comment as well.
I'm sorry, Elaine, can you say that again?
Yeah, Madam President, Mr. Nishimine was also going to comment on some of the discussions going forward.
Good morning. This is Matt Nishimini with the Budget Office. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I manage the regulatory packages that go through the department to the department. One of the things that we have on the horizon would be the fee regulatory packages, increasing the fees. When I look at this fund condition statement right now, you guys are still, pretty healthy. You're not going to go insolvent for a couple of years, so we do have some time. I know that there are some potential fees that would need to be statutorily authorized by statute that the board is considering, and that might be something that we would plan for in the future. I'd note also that when I look at this fund condition statement, in the past, there have been some savings. So when you're talking about that 5%, just on the natural, you guys might be saving some. Also, travel was brought up. The board has about $147,000 travel allotment. So to the extent that's not spent, that will certainly help to offset, that 5%.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Or comments? Moderator, if I see a little bubble in the chat, does that person want to speak out?
That means that person has sent a message. Let me see. I don't see any comments at all.
Thank you. Okay. Are there any further comments about the budget report? Then we can move on to our update number 7, item 7, our update from the Department of Consumer Affairs Deputy Director for Board and Bureau Relations, Ms. Carrie Holmes.
Good morning, Board President Mountain and board members. Thank you so much for allowing me to provide a department update to the Board of Vocational Nursing and Psychiatric Technicians. I'm Carrie Holmes, Deputy Director, Board and Bureau Relations at the Department of Consumer Affairs. I'd like to welcome new members on your first meetings, Tara Rooks and Abraham Hill. Also, congratulations to Ken Maxey, who we just learned was reappointed by the Speaker this week. Thank you all for your service. I was appointed by Governor Newsom to serve as the Deputy Director for Board and Bureau Relations beginning June 1st. I most recently came from the Senate, where I was Legislative Director for Senator Jim Bell. Before my time in the legislature, I served at the Secretary of State's office as Assistant Deputy. I've always been passionate about consumer protection, and I'm so happy to be here at DCA working with all the boards and bureaus. Board and Bureau Relations is here to serve as a point of contact and a resource. We'll help with training, onboarding, and appointments. I'm part of a new leadership team beginning in 2020, as you know. In January, Governor Newsom appointed Lourdes Castro Ramirez as the new Secretary of Business, Consumer Services, and Housing Agency. On March 5th, Governor Newsom appointed Jennifer Simoes as DCA's Deputy Director of Legislation, and then Megan Allred as Assistant Deputy Director of Legislation. Finally, on April 16th, Christine Lally was appointed by Governor Newsom as the Chief Deputy Director of DCA, and she joined us in July. Now that Director Kirkmeyer has her team in place, she can devote more time to her top priorities. One DCA priority is regulations, improving timelines and transparency. DCA's regulations unit was created by DCA Legal to directly assist boards and bureaus with regulations packages. The department also developed an online system to electronically manage and track regulations packages and streamline their review, called Sharewell. Sharewell testing with a pilot cohort is complete. There will be regular check-ins with a pilot group to solicit feedback, and the feedback will be evaluated to stages of the rollout. Our work continues, even though COVID-19 has changed the way we do business now and in the future. DCA temporarily closed all offices to the public in March in response to state and local stay-at-home orders to help reduce the spread of COVID-19. DCA and its boards and bureaus have implemented telework plans and require physical distancing for employees who cannot telework. DCA offices reopened to the public on June 15th with preventative measures to safeguard the health and safety of employees and visitors. The economic impacts of COVID-19 pandemic and the unprecedented wildfire activities are expected to last several years. The state needs to take immediate action to reduce costs and maximize efficiencies to support all Californians. As you heard from DCA budgets, each board and bureau will need to develop a plan for the 5% permanent budget reduction. DCA will be working with board staff immediately to identify a plan that will best fit with the board's operational needs. DCA is sympathetic and will support in any way possible. This is difficult. DCA would like to thank the board and staff for your continued service despite these challenges. Lastly, I would like to update you on some of the work Board and Bureau Relations is doing to support the board's executive team, along with all board and bureau leaders. Board and Bureau Relations has put on 3 brown bag trainings this fall to provide executive officers the opportunity to learn and discuss best practices on topics such as appointments, managing staff remotely, and providing ADA-compliant meeting materials to board members and the public. In partnership with DCA's Solid Training Unit, board member orientation trainings have been held quarterly as remote sessions, and a new training for board presidents is in the planning stages. I look forward to getting to know you better, and I look forward to the day we can meet in person. In the meantime, if you have any questions or need anything from DCA, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you again for inviting me to your meeting. That concludes my presentation, and I will hand it back over to Board President Mountain.
Thank you, Ms. Holmes. I do want to open for the board members. Do you have questions for Ms. Holmes? Ms. Yamaguchi.
I did. Thank you, Madam President. I actually, Ms. Holmes, do we have a date for the next BMOD?
Thanks for that question. The dates for the next BMOT have not been set yet. Those dates will be selected in the next few weeks, and we'll make sure to send all that information to you for next year's BMOTs.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other questions? Seeing no other questions, thank you again, Ms. Holmes. We will move on to the Education Division report. Ms. DeYoung, would you please provide this report?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. This is Beth DeYoung, Nursing Education Consultant, or NEC, here at the VVNPT. I am sitting in for Marie Cordero, the Nursing and Supervising NEC. So the NECs are continuing to work with their programs during the COVID-19 pandemic to approve the temporary simulation plans for each cohort and/or terms and semesters. I listed some challenges identified for programs and students on the report since March of 2020. Excuse me. The most challenging and shared by all is the lack of clinical sites. Since every program is very different, the NECs are working one-on-one with each director on a plan to help the programs to be able to move forward. This essential process does require a lot of the majority of the NEC's work hours. But as far as staffing, sorry, excuse me again. In Ms. Cordero's absence, the job duties of the NECs or the supervising NEC has been distributed to specific employees of all the education units. Our department is currently interviewing the candidate for the open NEC position, and the expected hire date will be approximately January of 2021. So I have provided you the Education Division report. Can I help answer any questions?
Ms. Yamaguchi?
Sure. Actually, I just wanted to provide a little bit of an update to Ms. DeYoung's report. And by the way, Beth, very kindly, very well done. We actually had a conversation with DCA a day or two ago about specifically staff travel and the ability to go out and make site visits. So in terms of our NECs and our special investigators, at this point in time, while we're not ready to go completely out in the field full strength as we had last year, what we plan to do right now is we'll be looking at some of the other boards and bureaus who have identified and implemented some protocols and guidelines for staff travel. And I hope to be able to work through December with the NECs and with the investigators to develop ours and maybe I'll have people able to go out in January. Of course, staff safety is going to be our paramount concern, and we're challenged, I think, especially because so many of the schools and programs are in the heart of Los Angeles or Orange counties, where the pandemic is still really, really hot. But I did want to share that good news because I think this is going to slightly increase and slightly decrease the NECs and the investigators' work. I think it's going to add a factor, but it's going to make some things, I think, better and easier for them to analyze and report on. Madam Chair?
Thank you, Ms. Yamaguchi. Ms. Norton, do you have a question or comment?
Yes, thank you. I was looking at the report and I think I know the answer, but can you just explain what is assigned versus unassigned? And I think that is in the school report.
Okay, so are you talking about the proposed programs, the assigned, proposed versus the unassigned?
I guess that's what I am talking about.
Okay.
I just on one of the things that there was numbers for assigned programs and numbers for unassigned programs.
Right. So what that is we have proposed programs that are on a waiting list. So those are not assigned to an NEC. And then the ones that are assigned are already working with an NEC, but they haven't been approved yet. So we've been pulling programs off the wait list and assigning them to NECs. So it kind of gives you a breakdown of the ones that are on the wait list and the ones that are actually working with the NECs right now.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other further questions or comments? All right. Thank you, Ms. DeYoung, for your report. And we will move on to item 5B, which is the Education Committee report. I will provide this report. We're dovetailing on what everyone else has really already kind of spoken about. One of the concerns evaluated by the Education Committee is how nursing education is currently being affected and how it will change in response to the pandemic. New modalities are being considered. Some are being tried. The NECs are asking the NECs, and simulation is definitely part of that. We see telehealth coming out as something that's a new possibility for clinical and other community sites that were never a possibility, and some that didn't even exist before the pandemic. So one of the things that we thought would be helpful would be to provide some additional education to the board members. And that was a process that we started yesterday by having presentations from NCSBN and Health Workforce Impact. This will continue at the February board meeting, and we're looking at the possibility of having some additional presentations on what people are doing to help clarify some of this information for the board members. The first action item was item number 8 that you can see in our report. That's for discussion and possible action on program and scope of practice, decision-making process. Ms. Yamaguchi, did you want to talk about that a little bit?
Thank you, Madam President. Actually, let me give the moderator a minute to bring the spreadsheet up as well. The board will recall in August, we briefly discussed this matter because I think you know that this delegation is a long-standing one, and the initial one goes all the way back to the 1990s, but we were able to find some documentation, although very, very terse, in 2003, where the board delegated this, reduced this very finite, this very concise delegation of authority to the executive officer. So actually, if we can just move down a little bit. So the board discussed this briefly in August and asked the Education Practice Committee to discuss. And we had, I thought, a really good conversation at the committee meeting. In the end, this flow chart kind of outlines that, exactly how these things move through the process. So on the far left, you see the work the NECs do. The next column, the executive officer review, and those items that are in the little box beneath that, those are the decisions that have been delegated to the executive officer, and the frequency in which we've been able to meet by those interim decisions. And then those ones that do not meet those criteria go automatically to the committee to make a recommendation to the full board. Now, this system's been working fairly well over the years, but given the fact that there's been so much discussion and a little bit of controversy, and I think the difficulties with programs needing to change their lesson planning and their work vis-a-vis the COVID clinical shutdowns, for example, staff and council felt it was a really important move to ask the board to reconfirm the delegation of these acts. So the committee discussed this at a good place, and they recommended that this be the model. The one thing that we do want to change in the operations here is, and this is something that existed before my management. The executive officer used to prepare that quarterly report on the decisions issued on the schools and programs, and it was appended to the executive officer report for the board. For some reason, and you'll have to forgive me because this wasn't actually a conscious decision on my part, that stopped happening in 2018. We will be continuing that. We will be making sure that that report does come forward every quarter. So, Madam Chair.
Thank you. The committee recommends to the full board that we approve the procedure and process set forth in the decision-making process flow chart, which is up on the board and which is attached to this agenda item, with the EO making decisions regarding programs' requests of minor issues such as approvals of programs and classes. And those that EO approvals or recommendations be presented to the full board for ratification at the next full board meeting after the EO decisions were made. And you can see that at 5720 in recording of the meeting. So are there any questions or comments from the board? Ms. Norton. Donna, did you have a question or comment? I see your hand raised.
No, sorry, I just forgot to take it down.
Oh, no worries. Is there any public comment?
This is the moderator. There is no public comment at this time.
Okay, so the committee's motion again was to approve the procedure and process set forth in the decision-making process flow chart attached to this agenda item, with the EO making decisions regarding programs' requests of minor issues such as approvals of programs and classes, etc., and that those EO approvals or recommendations be presented to the full board for ratification at the next full board meeting after the EO decisions were made. I will do a roll call and we will establish who's in favor, opposed, or abstains.
Madam Chair, Chair, this is Ken Swenson. May I just, for sake of clarification, I wanted to make sure that I emphasized that all decisions will be subject to ratification by the board, so that the board will have final approval over the decisions, recommended decisions of the EO at the EO review. Thank you.
Thank you for that clarification, Mr. Swenson. So we will call a roll call vote. Ms. Amazola de Herrera.
Can you come back to me, please? I'm still considering.
Okay. Ms. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mr. Durking?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. Maxey?
Yes.
Ms. Norton?
Yes.
Ms. Rooks?
Yes.
Ms. Rubalcava?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
I am also, I'm Carol Mountain, I'm a yes. Ms. Amazola de Herrera?
I'm a yes, thank you.
Thank you. The motion is approved by unanimous vote. The next action item from the committee was item 10, discussion and possible action to make recommendations to the board. Consideration of placement of program on provisional approval, Summit College, San Bernardino. Ms. Silverman?
Yes.
This is the board moderator. I believe Dr. Mountain, one of them was skipped. It was American.
My apologies.
You want to do American Career College first?
It's fine with me. This is what I have next on my list here. Let me see really quick. We can do that if you'd rather go to that one. Moderator, is that the preferred thing to do?
For the next item on the agenda, one, request to increase class enrollment size for American Career College.
Absolutely, we can do that next. So item 5B1, request to increase class enrollment size, American Career College, Anaheim. The NEC is Dr. Fairchild. Consideration for provisional approval. Oh no, that's it. Is Ms. Fairchild going to speak?
Thank you, Dr. Mountain. This is Dr. Fairchild. American Career College Anaheim had requested to increase their class size. At the time, as COVID was starting, when they first made their request, they had been displaced from clinical sites. Since then, they have returned to clinical sites where the students are receiving a minimum of 50% direct patient care. They have increased their clinic sites as well as increasing their faculty. So my recommendation is to approve the increase in class size, starting with the January part-time class. Thank you.
Mr. Swenson, do we need to call for a vote on this? Mr. Swenson? Oh, thank you. Will the moderator, so there's a comment from the director. Would the director like to speak?
There's actually no, I don't see her hand raised, but I will unmute her.
Thank you.
Hi there, this is Holly, the Director of Nursing at American Career College, Orange County. I am very grateful for the recommendation that Dr. Fairchild has made to the board. We would like to increase class size enrollment for our January part-time cohort. We have increased our clinical rotations and in our faculty ability to cover those rotations. Our students are, as Dr. Fairchild mentioned, meeting the minimum 50% requirement, but actually we are exceeding the 50% hands-on requirement at this time.
Thank you for that report. Mr. Swenson, do we need a motion for this?
This is a moderator. I'm not sure what's going on with Mr. Swenson's mic. I do see him still in the meeting. He may have had to step away for a moment.
Okay, well, Ms. Turner has a comment, and it looks like Ms. Norton also, so.
I was just ready to make a motion. I was going to make a motion.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, so I move that we accept the updated report of the NEC and adopt the NEC's updated report for American College.
Ms. Norton?
I second the motion.
Thank you.
Although I will say, if I remember procedure, I don't believe since it's coming out of the education committee that we need a second, because it's already seconded, but I do believe that we need to just have the vote of the full board.
Thank you. Then we'll start with our vote. Ms. Amazola de Herrera?
Yes.
Ms. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mr. Durking?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. Maxey?
Yes.
Ms. Norton?
Yes.
Ms. Rooks?
Yes.
Ms. Rubalcava,
Yes.
Ms. Turner. Ms. Turner, your microphone wasn't on.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm Carel Mountain, I vote yes. Let's see. Are we moving on to Angeles Institute, or are we going back to the previous?
Should be Summit.
Summit? Okay, let's do Summit. No problem. Thank you. Discussion and possible action to make recommendations to the board, considerations of placement of program on provisional approval, Summit College, San Bernardino. Ms. Silverman.
Hi. Summit College was taken to the Education Committee with recommendations of going on provisional approval. Coming out of the Education Committee, the recommendations were changed to rescind their ongoing admissions. This would enable the NEC to be given all documentations approximately 8 weeks prior to any start of any students, and to be able to review the documents without them actually having to go to the board meeting for that. They would need an approval for each one of their starts, but it would be able to be done as you have put forth in your previous approval. It would be go to the executive officer for approval if they had all the resources. One of the main reasons we decided to do this was because there's a new director and she's in the process of trying to clean up what was left by a previous director. I did want to add on that they did start 2 additional classes in November, of which they did not give me complete information. She's in the process of giving me the information, and I'm supposed to have all the rest of the information by Tuesday of next week. But my recommendation will still stand. I recommend that the board rescind ongoing admissions and require the program to submit an action plan to demonstrate live direct patient care, and require the program to submit the action plan to increase their resources up to a 50% mark, and no additional classes will be admitted without prior approval by the EO instead lieu of the board, and that the NEC will be notified if there any classes are displaced from clinical sites. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Silverman. Ms. Turner, do you have a comment?
No, I do not. I'll lower my hand.
Thank you. So the motion from the committee was to recommend that the board rescind the program's approval of ongoing admissions so that the program is not placed on provisional, but is required to submit documentation prior to each term start to ensure the program has the resources for the students, and the full discussion starts at 1 hour 54:55 in the recording. Is there a motion?
This is the moderator, Dr.
Yes.
Martin. I do see the director of the school in the office. Would you like for me to unmute her so she can comment if she'd like?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, hi, it's Brenda Coward, Director of Nursing Angeles Institute. Were you talking to me? I didn't hear you.
We were just waiting to see if you would like to make a comment.
It's a different school.
Different school?
It's a different
Yes,
school.
thank you. I apologize. I totally did not hear anything. I do agree with Dr. Fairchild. We are on board. All our clinicals are going strong. So yes, we'd like.
She's from the previous school.
No,
okay.
Brandy, we're
Dr. Mann.
next.
Okay,
We're
I'm
after
sorry.
Summit.
I was unmuted. Sorry about that.
That's okay. We're next. Hang in there.
Okay, can we have the director from Summit? Can we have the director from Summit? Would you like to speak?
Hi, this is the moderator. Okay, I'm actually looking at the actual report. One second.
Lauren Jones, Dr. Lauren Jones would be the director, moderator.
Okay.
I don't see Dr. Jones on.
Yeah, I don't see her anywhere here either.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Ms. Carpenter, I see your hand raised.
You had asked for a motion.
Excellent.
I'd like to move that we accept the NEC's report and recommendations.
Thank you. Mr. Swenson, we do not need a second, is that correct?
Madam Chair, this is Elaine Yamaguchi. Mr. Swenson's having some difficulties, but this is a motion out of committee and it does not need a second. You're correct.
Thank you so much, Ms. Yamaguchi. So we will take a roll call vote. Ms. Amazola de Herrera?
Yes.
Ms. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mr. Durking?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. Maxey?
Yes.
Ms. Norton?
Yes.
Ms. Rooks?
Yes.
Ms. Rubalcava?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
And Carel Mountain votes yes. So that was approved by a unanimous vote. All right. Item 5B is the request to increase class enrollment size. And let's see.
We did that one, Madam President.
We did that one already? So we did Angela's Institute. On the board meeting agenda, I see Gurnick Academy is next.
No, you have Angela's Institute, item 5D.
Item 5D. Okay, request to admit students by programs on provisional approval. Angela's Institute, Artesia Vocational Nursing Program, Dr. Fairchild. Recommendations?
Thank you, Dr. Mountain. The recommendation is to approve the class through a full-time class of 30 students to start January 9th and graduate November 19th, 2021 to replace the class that will be that just graduated today. The program continues to do great. They have clinical sites. They actually have enough space for social distancing, so they are on campus for theory. All I can say is that they continue to move forward and do an amazing job. Thank you.
Is the director of the program here?
Yes, I will unmute her microphone now.
Good morning. It's Brandy Coward, Director of Nursing Angeles Institute. Thank you so much. I do agree with Dr. Fairchild. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you. And are there other comments or questions from the board? And do we have a motion if there are no comments, which I see none?
Alita Carpenter. Move to accept the NEC's recommendations and report.
This is Donna. I'll second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. To accept the NEC's report for Angela's Institute Artesia Vocational Nursing Program. So we will do a roll call vote. Ms. Amazola de Herrera?
Yes.
Ms. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mr. Durking?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. Maxey?
Yes.
Ms. Norton?
Yes.
Ms. Rooks?
Yes.
Ms. Rubalcava?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
And I'm Carol Mountain. Yes. The motion is approved by unanimous vote. We will move on to number 2, Gurnick Academy of Medical Arts, San Mateo.
Topics. Do you want to just, if we get that far, because we got a pretty chock full agenda, if we get that far.
Excuse me? Ms. Silverman?
Of course.
Hi. So I'm presenting Gurnick
Yes.
Academy
You
of
said
Medical.
do it now or later? Later?
Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes?
Yes.
Somebody's driving, it sounds like.
This is the moderator. I hear more than one person
Okay.
speaking.
Can you hear me?
Ms. Turner, I think you're on a different call.
I could hear more than one person speaking. I'm not sure who it is. I don't see any microphone in the audience or on the panelist that is on.
Okay.
So I don't know where that's coming from.
Go ahead, Ms. Silverman. Let's try again.
Okay, so I'm presenting Gurnick Academy of Medical Arts, San Mateo campus. They are requesting to admit 25 students in January in the morning and 25 students in the evening. During my analysis, there was some snafus, if you want to call them. When they first submitted documentation, they were originally asking for I think it was 35 or 36 students. And the documents that they were showing me, there was a few clinical sites that were not approved. There was a few that weren't taking students because of COVID. By the end, at October 13th, we did get all the paperwork corrected. All the clinical sites were approved. They do have enough resources for 25. Therefore, it was 36 originally. So we changed the report to 25 students in the morning and 25 students in the evening, which is congruent with what resources they have. It is my recommendation to allow them to start both classes, 25 in the morning, 25 in the evening, continue the requirement that was requested previously that they submit a board report no later than March 15th, 2021 with multiple items. She has been working, trying to bring up her NCLEX pass rate. In fact, we have a meeting scheduled for a week from Monday to go over what has been done so far and what else she can do. We're sort of waiting for this next term to see how many students will test. It will come up. It looks like it's plateaued at -12, and we were hoping that this next term it will start coming back up more.
Thank you, Ms. Silverman. Is the director of Gurnick Academy here from San Mateo?
This is a moderator. She is, and so is Mr. Cramp. I will unmute both mics.
Hello, this is, you hear me? Larissa Revzina, Director of a Vocational Nursing Program in Gurnick Academy, San Mateo. So thank you very much. We're going to continue to work on improving of our pass rate, further. So thank you very much.
Any further comments from Gurnick Academy?
I've unmuted the microphone for Mr. Edward Cramp if he'd like to speak.
Thank you. I don't have any comments. I appreciate the board's attention.
Thank you. Any comments from the board or questions? Okay, seeing no hands raised. Any further comments from the public?
This is the moderator. I see none at this time.
Okay, it's been moved to accept the recommendations of the NEC for Gurnick Academy Medical of Arts San Mateo regarding admitting 25 students in the AM and 25 students in the evening. Is there a motion for that? Thank you, Eli. Go ahead.
I don't think you have a motion on the floor.
Thank you. Do we have, can we get a motion?
This is Donna. I'll move that we accept the NEC's report.
Thank you, Ms. Norton. It's been moved to accept the NEC's report for Gurnick Academy of Medical Arts San Mateo. I will do a roll call vote.
You still need a second, Madam Chair.
Oh dear. All right. Thank you. Mr. Hill.
This is Mr. Hill. I'll second that.
Thank you very much.
And
Now we have
Madam Chair, Ken Swenson here. For point of clarification, the motion is to accept the report and adopt the recommendations.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will now do a roll call vote. Ms. Amazola de Herrera.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Carpenter.
Yes.
Mr. Durking.
Yes.
Mr. Hill.
Yes.
Mr. Maxey.
Yes.
Ms. Norton.
Yes.
Ms. Rooks.
Yes.
Ms. Rubalcava.
Yes.
Ms. Turner.
Yes.
And I'm Carol Mountain. I vote yes. All right. We will move on to Hacienda La Puente Adult Education Vocational Nursing Program. Dr. Fairchild.
Thank you, Dr. Mountain. First, before I go, I had some typos. The graduating class is graduating December 10th, not December 20th. And the proposed class will graduate March 1st, 2022, not December 2021. My recommendation is to approve the full-time class of 20 students beginning January 25th, 2021 to replace the class graduating December 10th. The program has had all of their violations that were found in 2017, 2018 were corrected in May 20th, 2019. There have been no other violations. They have been able to provide direct patient care clinical experiences for the students to meet the 50%. They are on campus in a unique setting where half of the students are in one classroom, half the students are in another classroom, where they're Zooming and then the instructor switches. So there's interaction for the students and interaction for this with the instructor. They have set up 2 skills labs with only 5 students assigned at a time. I've received emails from the students saying that they are very happy with the program and that they feel that their needs as students are being met through these difficult times. So again, my recommendation is to approve the class. Thank you.
Do we have a representative from Hacienda La Puente Adult Education with us?
We do, and I will unmute that mic.
Good morning. This is Suzanne Ziemer, Director of Vocational Nursing for Hacienda La Puente Adult Education. Thank you, Dr. Fairchild, and we accept her recommendation.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Seeing no hands, are there any question or comments from the public? I would like to ask for a motion and a second from the board.
There are none. There are none. No public comments at this time.
Thank you, moderator. Ms. Carpenter?
Move to accept the NEC's report and recommendations.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Yes, this is Paula. I second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded to accept the recommendations for Hacienda La Puente Adult Education from the nursing education consultant. I will do a roll call and we will establish who's in favor, who is opposed. Ms. Amazola de Herrera?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mr. Durking?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. Maxey?
Yes.
Ms. Norton?
Yes.
Ms. Rooks?
Yes.
Ms. Rubalcava?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
And I am Carol Mountain and I vote yes. And the motion is approved by unanimous vote. We can move on to Northwest College Riverside, vocational nursing program. Ms. Silverman?
Hi, good morning. I am presenting Northwest College Riverside campus to the board. They have requested to start an evening class of 30 students on November 30th with an expected graduation on April 14th. They were originally put on provisional status because there was a class started without board approval. Their NCLEX pass rates are fine. They are in compliance. This class will give them 102 students, and I have no other, it's fine. I'm recommending for the class of 30 students.
Is there a representative from Northwest College Riverside?
There is, and I will unmute that mic.
Hi, this is Dr. Catherine Silke. I'm the DON for this program. And of course, we approve of the NEC's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Ms. Amazola? Your
Yes.
hand is raised.
Yes, just quick question. Can we hear from the school why the previous class did not have board approval? I'd like to know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Well, actually, there was a different DON at that time, and this is a whole separate issue as far as us of that campus not having board approval. That, from our perspective, is debatable and something that we wish to address with the board at another time. And so the school right now is doing very well. Our NCLEX rates are in the 80s. So everything is on track as it should be now.
Thank you. Did that answer your question?
Not really, but okay. This is Paula again. And is this something that's going to come to the education committee?
I'm not sure.
That class that was started without board approval was already graduated prior to this. This school is coming to the end of their probation period of the 2 years. That was a previous, they were originally put on board provisional approval in August of 2019. And I would assume that their board approval is going to become up for questioning in August of 21. So
Madam Chair, this is Ken Swenson. I'm concerned that the discussion is not germane to the agendized item, and that we should not get involved in an extensive discussion of that issue. We should focus on the matter that's been agendized for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Swenson. Then we'll move forward. Are there any comments from the public?
I see none.
Thank you, moderator. Is there a motion and a second from the board? Ms. Amazola, you have your hand raised?
It was from the previous, sorry.
Okay. Ms. Carpenter?
Move to accept the NEC's report and recommendations.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Mr. Hill?
I'd like to second that.
Thank you. So it's been moved and seconded to accept the NEC's recommendation. I will do a roll call and establish who's in favor, opposed, or abstains. Ms. Amazola de Herrera?
Madam Chair, public comment,
Yes, sir.
please.
Yes, sir.
Opportunity for public comment, please. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Are there any public comments?
I see none at this time.
Thank you, moderator. Ms. Amazola de Herrera? Your
Yes.
vote? Thank you. Ms. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mr. Durking?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. Maxey?
Yes.
Ms. Norton?
Yes.
Ms. Rooks?
Yes.
Ms. Rubalcaba?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
And I'm Carol Mountain, and I vote yes. This motion is approved by unanimous vote. We will move on to Premier Career College Vocational Nursing Program. Dr. Fairchild.
Thank you, Dr. Mountain. My recommendation is to deny a full-time class of 30 students beginning January 4th, 2021. Premier Career College has not demonstrated incremental program improvement. The program's NCLEX pass rates remain at or below 10% of the state average. The program began implementing interventions to improve NCLEX PN pass rates in May 2019. The changes have included updated admission and attendance policies, as well as test-taking strategies in Term 1 and mandatory review program. The next changes were made in October 2019 when ATI was implemented, monitoring of attendance and academic process, as well as initiation of an exit exam. While students receiving all of the ATI implementation will not graduate until March 2021, it should be noted that the class that graduated in September of 2020 did benefit from the majority of the ATI products, the main topics of med-surg, fundamentals, and pharmacology. Students who took the NCLEX PN during the third quarter of 2020 were from the February and May graduating cohorts. The February 2020 class had 19 students complete the program, with only 10 students considered graduates. 7 students from this class have taken NCLEX, with 5 students passing. It should be noted that this is the class that graduated 2 months late due to the 144 hours of clinical time not being scheduled. The May 2020 graduating class started with 24 students and completed with 19 passing the exit exam. So far, 3 of these students have tested, with 2 passing. The class that graduated in September had 27 students complete the program, with 9 students passing the exit exam. The 18 students who did not pass the exit exam were given 2 opportunities to pass following remediation. With the second attempt, only 12 students either scored the same or lower. So the majority of the students did not even do better or able to pass the exam. While there is a slight upward trend in recent graduates passing, there is a larger number of students who are not passing the exit exam. Graduates who do not pass the exit exam are considered non-graduates. Therefore, they take NCLEX as a method 3, so this does not affect their NCLEX pass rates. The program has had 93 graduates in the past year, and only 46 of those students have passed the exit exam. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a representative of Premier Career College?
This is the moderator. There is, and I will unmute that mic. Ophelia, your mic is unmuted.
Hi, good morning to all of you in the board. This is Ophelia Layugan. I am the program director for Premier Career College. And I'm so grateful to be here today. And I would like to take this opportunity to express our gratitude for the opportunity to be heard. Is that okay with y'all?
Yes.
Okay. So I just want to lay out what we have been doing so far. And the report that Dr. Fairchild gave to you is what we have submitted, you know. And but Premier Career College has always been committed to providing quality vocational training to all of its students. As such, we continue to do our best to provide and maintain best promote our mission of producing knowledgeable, safe, and well-trained graduates who would eventually become productive and valued members of the healthcare workforce. It is for this reason that we are hoping for a reconsideration of the recommendation to deny the approval of the class that's supposed to commence January 4, 2021, since we have not had any new class approval or admission since February 2020. Premier Career College has exerted due diligence to address areas of improvement in the program, including the mitigation of those challenges in the delivery of theoretical instruction and clinicals brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. Following the recommendations from the board, we have done a comprehensive analysis of the program and have addressed the areas needing improvement, and all requirements and documentations to substantiate this has been submitted. The action plan we laid out in the comprehensive analysis have been instituted. And although, you know, I would say it's unrealistic to expect an immediate turnaround, we are optimistic with the incremental positive results we are seeing in the current remaining cohorts. And as I stated earlier, we have renewed our commitment to help our students to graduate from the BN program and succeed in passing the NCLEX BN exams. We are doing this by ongoing program evaluation and continued efforts to make improvements to the program. And as such, we are seeing significant increase in the number of our graduates passing the NCLEX pass rate for the quarter of October to December 2020, although this is not the official report yet. So to continue to monitor the program's improvements and incremental success and its ability to maintain the standards set by the board, we are, again, as I said, asking for reconsideration of the current recommendation and request approval for a new class start. Without this approval, there will be a gap in enrollment, as the last cohort of students will graduate in March 2021, which will also deprive our program the opportunity to demonstrate anticipated progression as a result of the various elements of improvement that we have already put in place. We are hopeful that you will consider our position in requesting the start of a new class. So, like I said, we have modified our admission process. We have added a lot of resources, including hiring an ATI champion, and we've hired more experienced faculty. To date, we have hired 6 new faculty. We are implementing the ATI more rigidly now, and we are using one-on-one advisements with our students to create more engagement. So this is just to name a few of the things that we have done, and we feel that we have made great strides towards increasing and ensuring the success of our students. However, at this point, the only true way to gauge our resolve is to be given the opportunity to have a new class. thus we are bringing this appeal to y'all and to our NEC, and we appreciate you and thank you for taking the time and attention to listen to our position, with the hope that it will be given due consideration, and hopefully maybe get this taken up with the education committee if at all possible. Thank you.
Are there other comments from the board or questions? Ms. Yamaguchi and then Ms. Carpenter also.
Madam Chair, thank you very much. I wanted to try and fine tune the question in front of the board. The program is looking to start a class in January. And while the program director just laid out a really ambitious program of improvements that they've been making, they're in process of making, and they're still looking at a really substantial curriculum revision. I would defer actually to Ms. Silverman at this point, because I think, you know, the program director is correct that the only way to gauge the success of the reforms they're making is to, of course, have a class. It's just that it seems like to start a class in January is premature, and that is, of course, only my opinion. So I would defer to Ms. Silverman at this point to talk about some possible scenario timeline.
Elaine, it's Dr. Fairchild that's the NEC for this school, not me.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fairchild.
Thank you.
I don't think it's you, Faye. I'm sorry.
That's okay. While they have implemented they've done a lot with their analysis, but it still points down to, yes, they have implemented ATI, but are they weighing ATI more than their curriculum? They haven't looked at what is actually being taught, how it's being taught, how are the students being assessed? What happened that their decline in their pass rates over the 2 years? They're doing a great job with working with faculty, the ATI champion, their admissions, the one-on-one tutoring. But my biggest concern is that curriculum. They are working on it. It has not been submitted yet, so most likely will not be approved for a January class. And if you are admitting a class in January, are you setting these students up for the same, because they're going to have the curriculum that is already in place? So when you're looking at all of the things that are being implemented and you still have very few students that are eligible to take NCLEX, there's still something missing somewhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fairchild. Ms. Yamaguchi, your hand is raised.
My apologies.
Oh. Are there any other further comments from the public?
This is the moderator. At this time, I do not see any. However, Dr. Mountain, would you like for me to unmute the mic for Ophelia again, just in case she wants to make another comment?
Yes, I would. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Go ahead, Ophelia. Your mic is unmuted.
Yeah, and we are actually working on the curriculum right now. Yeah, but you know, in order to ensure that our students are getting the right instruction and ensure their success. This is the reason why we're doing the advisements. We're following up on them on a one-on-one basis now, just to ensure that they get the proper instruction. So we are not resting on the fact that we are revising or revamping our curriculum. We are also working with the current curriculum and doing the necessary actions that will help our students. And the curriculum that we have right now worked before, so we are there are a lot of extenuating circumstances, and I'm sure, especially with the COVID-19 pandemic, limiting the interaction of the students with the instructors and the lack of clinical sites, those are all contributory to where our students are at this time. So, I just want to say that that's what I feel about. I see. I've seen the areas that need to be improvement. Coming from a clean slate, because I'm a new director, and I think we're really doing our best to mitigate these circumstances. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. I see, Ms. Norton, you have your hand raised.
I move that we accept the NEC's report and adopt the recommendations.
Is there a second?
Second, Cheryl Turner.
Gathering.
Mr. Swenson, do I need to call for additional comments from the public?
That's correct, Madam Chair.
Are there additional comments from the public?
This is a moderator. I still see Ophelia's hand up. I don't know if she has a comment, but I will unmute her. Ophelia?
Yes, I have our school president with me. I'm the public commentator. The public commentator.
Blessed morning to everyone. My name is Dr. Faye Ludovico Aragon, and I'm the Executive Director President of Premier Career College. First, let me thank all of you for this opportunity. And also, for the first time, let me express my sincerest gratitude to Dr. Fairchild for everything that she has done to guide us and to help us improve our program. All that we ask is for you guys to give us a chance to implement and to show and to prove that, all our due diligence are serious. We are very, very positive that it will bring us positive results. At the same time, may I please request that you be fair. Okay, I'm not going to mention the name of the school, but the school that was discussed prior to us, their violation is really severe. I mean, starting a class without approval when you are in vocational, and now, in spite of that, being given a chance, to revive themselves and be given a class. I think we should be given the same fair treatment because as the consultant, will attest, we have done everything to correct whatever it is that, were found to be deficient. And at the same time, in spite of the difficulty because of the COVID, we did our best to achieve or to obtain more clinical sites. At the same time, also, in spite of the difficulty to get good instructors, again, because of the COVID, we did. So we're doing our best. Please give us a chance. We have been serving this community for the last 30 years. And our main goal is to help the members of the community, improve their lives and to be heroes, to work in the field which is very much needed right now. So please, give us a chance. That's all that we ask. And we promise you that we are really going to do our best because this is our mission. This is not just a job or a business for us. this is something that we have dedicated our lives very seriously. And you can see, we're not a new school. We are not here just, to business. No, this is a mission. This is our goal to help our community. So that's all I ask. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Are there other further public comments?
This is the moderator. There are none.
Is there a motion from the board?
Madam Chair, there's a motion pending to accept the report and adopt the recommendations, and it's been seconded.
Thank you. Then we will go ahead and take a roll call vote. Ms. Amazola de Herrera?
Can someone repeat the motion, please?
I believe the motion is to accept the recommendation of the NEC. Did you want to have further clarification of what that is?
At this point, I'm going to, I'm still considering. Can you skip me, please?
Sure. Ms. Carpenter?
Abstain.
Mr. Durking?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Abstain.
Mr. Maxey?
Abstain.
Ms. Norton?
Yes.
Ms. Rooks?
Abstain.
Ms. Rubalcaba?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
And I'm a yes, Carel Mountain. Ms. Amazola de Herrera?
I will abstain also.
Okay. So we have 5 abstains and 5 yes votes. Mr. Swenson, now what happens?
The majority of the votes cast are in favor of the motion. The motion carries.
Thank you. All right. We will move on to number 6, University of Antelope Valley Vocational Nursing Program, Ms. Silverman.
Hi. I am presenting University of Antelope Valley Vocational Nursing Program with a request to admit 30 students. I don't know if you guys remember, but several board meetings ago, we had brought this program to the board with a recommendation to shut the program down. Since that time, there was one board meeting that they were going to come back and make a presentation to see how they were doing. We did not bring them back because they did not want to start a class because of COVID-19, and they did not have adequate clinical sites, so they opted to wait another quarter to come to this board meeting. So they did, if you look down at the chart on the report, you can see that the last 3 quarters, you got 20, 30, 48, 49, 52 students who finally have tested. So a good majority of their students finally had gotten through and tested. And then you can see the pass rates have turned the corner and are starting to come up, and they are +3 at this point. My recommendation is to go ahead and allow them to start a class of 30 students. They currently do not have any students because all the previous cohorts were taught out, and they now have a plan in place that allows the students to finish the program and to test quicker through different methodologies, and they are still going to be required to produce a report in February of this year to look at their program. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a representative of Antelope Valley, University of Antelope Valley here?
This is the moderator. There is, and I will unmute that microphone now. Alvi Cheta, your microphone is unmuted. You may speak.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. This is Alvi Cheta, and I'm the Director of Nursing for the Antelope Valley, University of Antelope Valley Vocational Nursing Program. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Ms. Silverman for her efforts in working with us through all these processes. I also would like to take this opportunity to thank the board for letting us continue support the healthcare system of our community. We're very community-based. And we will only continue to enhance our program from admissions to postgraduate follow-up we're focusing all of our energy to make sure that we are producing good nurses in the future that will someday take care of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there comments from the board or questions? Are there public comments or questions?
This is the moderator. I do not see any further comments at this time.
I would like to ask for a motion and a second from the board. Ms. Carpenter?
Move to accept the NEC's report and recommendations.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
This is Donna. I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Norton. I would like to call for a roll call vote at this time. Ms. Amazola de Herrera?
Yes.
Ms. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mr. Durking?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. Maxey?
Yes.
Ms. Norton?
Yes.
Ms. Rooks?
Yes.
Ms. Rubakava?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
And I'm Carol Mountain, and I vote yes, and that means that it is approved unanimously. At this time, I would like to let the board members take a 10-minute break, and we will reconvene at 10:55.